Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Agri Addict. So in this video, I'm going to discuss in detail about the plant breeding subject for ICAR PG exams. So there were a lot of queries that were coming from the students to come up with a video which explains everything about like what to be studied in this plant breeding. See, if you are reading these plant sciences subjects, mostly you will be confused about the genetics, plant breeding and plant pathology. These three subjects are considered to be the most important topics in terms of like number of questions that are asked in the exams. So if you know and if you have analyzed the papers of previous years, like from starting of 2020 till 2024, so if you have just gone through these 4 years papers and if you have analyzed it, so you will be getting to know the rough idea about number of questions that are asked in the exam for different subjects. For example, on an average, the genetics questions will be around 30 to 35 questions for each of the year. And the plant breeding questions are around 25 to 27 questions that will be asked in every year paper. And plant pathology, this will actually compete with the genetics, where it is mostly equal or sometimes it might be greater than the questions that are coming from the genetics. And apart from this, whatever the other subjects you have, like AMB you have C-Tech, and you get the questions from biochemistry, biotechnology, plant physiology, agronomy, soil science, like all parts of general agriculture. So this will sum up to only 15 questions to 15 to 20 questions in total. Rest all of them will be from the majority of these three major subjects that you have to cover. So if you are preparing for 2025 exam, 2026 exam, or in the later years, the priority should be like you have to start with the major subjects like genetics and then cover plant breeding, plant pathology, and then go into the minors. But the problem is very simple. That you have these three subjects, you know, like this is very much important, but the books that you have to refer are very bulky, and if you just compare it with the syllabus that is given to you, the syllabus seems very simple, but the content that is available in the textbooks, it's very vast. So confusion starts, like what to skip, what to read, what are mandatory things and what are optional. And also, like most of the time the students feel difficulty in understanding the concepts in one go. They have to go for the multiple readings, and obviously like students will not have that much of time to cover the bulky books in a very short period of time. So that's the main concern with this ICAR PG exams, where you have to attend, like you have to get like 350 plus marks in order to get this ICAR PG fellowship, and at the same time you need at least more than a year of preparation to prepare for these exams if you are going for self-study. So that is the reason like we are coming up with the made easy kind of topics, where in the YouTube we are uploading, and after watching the videos that we are explaining for individual subjects, you will be able to prepare accordingly, get a focused idea on like what to study and what not to, and what are the things that you can skip and what are the mandatory things. And we will also share you like important tips that will help you to crack this exams, since we have come up with the same exam and cracked it with a good rank in the previous years. Okay, so let's begin. So very first thing, I always say this in all of my videos, it's about like before you just go for any exams preparation, you have to just look at the syllabus. Now the trickiest part here is like in case of plant breeding, if you just observe the 4 units that are mentioned here, except the topic of heterosis, you do not find clearly, there is no mention of any topics that is directly related to the plant breeding. See, if I start from importance of agriculture, basic principles, cultivation and major soils, and in the second unit you have almost most of the things are related to the genetics here, and then the things are related to the plant physiology, and few things are related to the plant pathology. And in the third unit you can find again like it is about the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, the difference between the fungi, bacteria and mycoplasma, which can come in plant pathology or the microbiology, or like you have physical and chemical basis of heredity, chromosome structure, genes, enzymes, like gene operant concepts. These things all till recombination, this is again genetics. But there is only one topic which is mentioned about plant breeding, it is about the heterosis. And next is again starts with the elements of the economic botany, integrated disease management. So this is entirely again the plant pathology. And down you can just start finding the topics that are relevant to the seed science and technology, where it starts with role of plant hormones and it ends with the seed production of self and cross pollinated crops. And next, nitrate assimilation, biological fixation, again you can consider this in AMB, that is agriculture microbiology, or you can consider this in plant physiology. And lastly, the most of the things are related to This thing is related to the AMB, that is agriculture microbiology, and the rest is like for general agriculture, which is involved. So this is the main headache here. You do not find the exact syllabus which is concerned with the plant breeding. But if you talk about the books, you know already the books for this genetics and plant breeding. Like what are the two important books you have? You know it is either Pundan Singh you can go for or the BD Singh. So these are the books that you have to read for the plant breeding in order to cover the ICRPG exam, crack this exam. But again, like which one to choose, whether we have to go for both the books or can we just go with a single book? Is it sufficient? Because this is almost having like 800 plus pages, and this is like almost half, around 450 to 500. So like mostly if you compare the Essential of Plant Breeding by Pundan Singh and the BD Singh is a bulkier book where lot of things are included which are mainly related to the plant breeding, but that is been concise in case of Essentials of Plant Breeding by Pundan Singh, where most of the things are given in a very short manner. So that will help you to cover this in a very short period of time. But again the question would be like, if I only rely on the Pundan Singh, whether will I able to cover the syllabus for the exams, whether the questions that are asked in the exams will be covered from this book or not? This is the another question. So to clear this confusion, like what are the things, like what will be the best approach for preparing for this plant breeding? Like we have explained this in a detailed video which is done by Kavya. So the link will be available in the description box. So just click on the link after watching this video and make sure you watch the complete video to get a proper understanding on what things you have to cover from the Essential of Plant Breeding Pundan Singh and what things you can cover from the BD Singh. And if you ask me, like if you are preparing for 2026, 2027 or later years, then the best approach is reading the combination of both. Like selective topics from both the books would be the best approach if you are willing to crack these exams with the top rank. Okay, but if you have very less time, if you are already preparing for this year, that is 2025, then in this short period of time what best you can do, that I will be explaining in this video. Okay, and the number of questions that will be asked as per the plant breeding on an average, analyzing the previous year papers, it is around 25 to 30 questions that will come for your exam. Okay, make sure you know it. And if you just check the level of questions of this 25 to 30 questions, they are of very basic level. Only like 4 to 5 questions might be complicated or complex. Otherwise, most of the questions are like one-liners or a single direct multiple choice. And even if they are asking in case of assertion reasoning or the statement wise, they are very simple to answer. Most of the things are conceptual and few are like memory based. Okay, so how to cover? So you can just divide the topics into, like first one would be like general topics. So the general topics which I am mentioning here, these are most important, where you can't skip anything. Nothing much complex, nothing much conceptual. It is like memory based. You have to read it, revise it, understand it and revise it. That's it. So what are the general topics? So since we are talking about the plant breeding, it starts with the history of plant breeding. You know about the history of plant breeding and the achievements of the different scientists in the field of plant breeding. That would be important. You know the name of the scientist, and plus you also know about their contribution. So that's become important things. One is history and second one is achievements. Next, the second important thing, like consider this is the one. The second important thing here is you should go for domestication and germplasm conservation. So go for domestication and germplasm conservation. Know about different things here in this chapter. This is very simple to understand. Just try to cover it. And also about the crop genetic resource. Okay, just have to cover this one. The third one is like system of mating. The system of mating, it is also important, and plus go through the modes of reproduction. See, this you might have also covered in the seed section technology. So similarly, it would be kind of revision if you are covering for the genetics and plant breeding. So please do not leave anything on this and try to cover it in detail. And the next very important chapter or the unit is like self-incompatibility and male sterility. So these are given as a separate chapters both in BD Singh and Pundan Singh. See, it depends on you, like from where you are studying, whether you study from the BD Singh or Pundan Singh, that doesn't matter, but make sure you understand each and everything about the self-incompatibility and each and everything about the male sterility. So the practical implications and the what are these in the first place, what are the different types, and how it is utilized in the plan breeding. So these things are very much important. Certain tables are given in both the cases. Make sure you know the tables. Like for example, in case of plant male sterility, the source of CMS for the different crops, that is important. Like one liners, you have to make sure that you make a table and remember it. Okay, and next, so this is the general topics which I told about. First category. Second one, the special topics. In case of special topics, like there are two important units here. One is components of genetic variance, and the second one is heritability. So I understand that students, while they are going for the self-study, might feel this complex to understand. They might not understand this in a very first go, but if you are going for the repeated reading, you will be able to understand it. But the thing is, you can keep this as a basics, like only cover the basic things. Do not dive in depth regarding these topics. Do not put a question mark in your mind whenever you read each and every scientist. Just try to digest as it is and just know the foundation of it, like basics. Just try to cover the basics. Don't go in depth. And if you are not able to cover it from the self-study, anyhow, as I mentioned, like we are providing the online master courses for the 6 different subjects, which also includes plant sciences. So if you are specifically not understanding the genetics and plant breeding, there is separate course for genetics and plant breeding also, for at a very minimal and affordable price. So where we have covered each and everything in detail, and also we have provided the notes that is relevant to you. You can consider that. But again, if you are going for self-study, you can just go for the multiple reading. That is the tip I will be giving. So go for the multiple reading and do not keep the question mark for every single sentence that you read. Try to keep it simple and minimum, so that whatever things that is necessary for your exams, that will be covered here. So this is regarding the special topics. Next, after the special topics, next section would be like general breeding methods. See, what is general breeding methods? Like in this, what are the things that you have to remember and you have to read? The first thing here is like you have to make sure that you differentiate between the self-pollinated and cross-pollinated, the breeding methods for self-pollinated crops and the breeding method for cross-pollinated crops. You have to differentiate it. So once you differentiate, you have to know the principle of each of the breeding method, and you have to know its utility, like where it is used, and you have to know about the methodology. And if there are any crop specifics, then you also have to know this crop specific breeding methods, or you have to know, basically you have to differentiate whether the certain breeding method is for cross pollinated or for self, or it is applicable for both. And whenever I ask you like what is pedigree, what is mass selection, what is pure line selection, you have to know like why it is used, at what conditions this is used, and what is the general methodology of using this plant breeding method. So if you cover these 3 aspects, either making a table of by yourself or reading from the book, whether you go for Pundan Singh or BD Singh, that doesn't matter, but you have to understand these things. So that would be covering. And difference, like you can also just read this in terms of difference between the different methods of plant breeding. You can also make a table or just make a short note of it and properly study accordingly. So that would be very much important in case of general breeding methods. No need to go in depth, just only know about these 4 important areas in case of general breeding methods, but make a complete list of like what are the different methods that are available, okay, for self-pollinated and for cross-pollinated, and which one are the common for both. So in this general, after this general breeding methods, like which is 3rd category, the 4th category is the special breeding methods. In case of special breeding methods, this might be like advanced to what you learn in the general, like you have mutational breeding, you have marker assisted breeding, like this comes under smart breeding, which is like recently trending area where most of the plant breeding activity is based on the marker assisted selection, since it saves a lot of time. And these things, what I would recommend you is keep it minimum, or keep your reading to the very basic level. Do not go in depth. In case of marker assisted breeding, only concentrate on the different types of markers and their nature. So that would be more than sufficient. And in case of mutational breeding, know about the procedure, the general procedure, like how it is used, and what is M2, what is M3. So these things would be necessary and sufficient from the special breeding methods. And just try to know about the name of the special breeding methods, where it is used, whether it is self or cross, and what is the general methodology, just like what I said in the previous general breeding methods. But compared to the general breeding methods, you can keep it bare minimum, like whatever is just necessary, just read it. Do not entirely go for the BD Singh books and try to extract from line to line, which is not at all required for your ICAR PG exams. Once you come into MSc, once you start studying this at a very good level, then these things will be very important once you want to clear this ICAR PhD exams. But for ICAR PG, so whatever basics that you will be covering, that will be more than sufficient. Next, after the general breeding methods and the special breeding methods, next important thing you have is stress breeding. And if you just start reading this stress breeding from the BDC, you will definitely not be able to know like what to remember and what not to remember and what are the things that are needed to be understood and everything. So if you are trying to keep it simple and just trying to know like what are the different stress we have and what are the important terminologies like what is dot resistance, dot avoidance, so just such things you are trying to extract from these chapters and trying to memorize them and remember them, so that is the best approach that you can do for this stress resistance. And if you have any allied varieties for the different abiotic stress and the biotic stress which are in the market right now, like which are popular variety in the recent years, so try to track those varieties and the hybrids if there are any hybrids. Only remember those type of hybrids and know about like what kind of breeding methods have been used in those things, so that would be sufficient for the stress breeding. Okay, next, after stress breeding, the fifth category, the sixth category is like breeding for specific purpose. So in this breeding for specific purpose, you have two different things. So one is like idiotype breeding. So you have to know about like what is it exactly, like what is idiotype breeding and breeding for climate change. Just go through it once or glance it, nothing much important here. Do not try to go in depth here, that is not at all required. Just keep your things basics, like just try to read it once, have a elemental knowledge on these things, that would be more than sufficient. There is nothing much to be like understood, or there is nothing much complex to be known here. Okay, and the next category would be crop breeding and seed production. See, the crop breeding and seed production, like if you have gone through my YouTube video lectures of 16 seed science and technology playlist, so if you have gone through it, so most of the things that you come across here will be covered. So try to just cover the 16 lectures of seed science which are freely available in YouTube channel. The links I will be sharing it in the description box. So if you have already covered it, it's well and good. If you have not covered it, you can cover it there and come here and just have one reading from the book, either from the Pundan Singh or the BD Singh. So the purpose will be served, and any kind of questions that will be asked in the exams, I have explained each one of them nicely, so for your better understanding, so you can rely on them completely. You need not to worry about much about this crop breeding and seed production from the books of plant breeding. Okay, the next is like the IPR. I would say IPR is the one which is again important, and the potential questions can come from here. Like we have patents, we have copyrights, so all kind of IPR rights, their validity. So let me write it, the validity and the purpose, and in whichever domain they are used. Like for example, what kind of works these kind of rights are given. So validity plus kind of work these are allotted, and what are the rules and the regulations pertaining to this. So these things would be important from the IPR section. So I would also say that this is also important. Please make sure that you read it and remember it. Okay, for the exam point of view, because some things might confuse, so revise it multiple times, so the IPR will be very much clear to all of you. And this IPR is common for all the subjects, whether you are preparing for plant science or any other subjects. This IPR is very much important. Try to cover it, okay, nicely. Okay, so next, after this, like this is entirely done, and mostly like this is a blueprint of the Pundan Singh which I have used to explain. But the thing is, it doesn't mean that you have to read everything from the Pundan Singh. So there were like topics which were there in both Pundan Singh and the BD Singh. Like history, you have this male sterility, self-incompatibility. In between these chapters are with the different names, but the content is more or less same, but in much detail. So I would recommend, for 2 months strategy, just follow this and try to keep it minimum, and just try to cover this general topics in depth. And after covering the general topics, go for the general breeding methods in bit depth, and next special breeding methods at elemental level, and the stress breeding methods at elemental level, and crop breeding and seed production from the seed science classes, and the IPR in depth. Okay, read the entire chapter. After this, if you are covering everything from the Pundan Singh, the rest like organizations, the name of the organizations plus its location, this is present in the BD Singh book. So try to have this book either from the library, or you can buy it, or you can borrow from anyone. Just take the pictures of it and try to read them. Okay, organization and their locations, that becomes very much important. So this would be like short term strategy for the 2 months to read like how you can cover this plant breeding. Okay, but if you have sufficient time, if you are preparing for 2026 2027, so what I have done is like I have made the clear cut tables for like what are the topics to be read from the Pundan Singh and what are to be read from the BD Singh, that you can cover. Or else in this 2 months of time, like if you are not able to cover these things by your self study, like I would be showing you one important thing here. See, we have like the Plant Science Master course for 2025 batch and also for 2026 batch. So if you are preparing for these exams, like if you are able to cover all other subjects, then go for a single course which is available as a genetics and plant breeding. The links will be available in the description box. Or so if you want to cover the comprehensively all the subjects in the plant sciences with us, you can even do it in this 2 months of time by dedicating yourself and at least covering 6 to 7 classes per day, because there are overall like 130 plus classes that are uploaded, which covers A to Z syllabus of the plant sciences, plus you will get the ready study materials which are very concise, and the crisp notes, the standard mock test series which have the topic wise, subject wise and whole syllabus, which will again help you to build the confidence and know your weak areas and work on them. Plus we also provide one-to-one mentorship. All your doubts that you get while reading will be answered as of then instantly, and we'll also provide one-to-one mentorship regarding this the same. And wherever you feel low, if you're underconfident, you're not confident about what you're reading, and if you're facing difficulty in any of the subjects, we are always here to assist you people. Plus we will give you the previous year papers, its discussions, solved PDFs, plus the video lectures which will help you to analyze what are the different things that is important from the previous year papers and what to focus for cracking these exams nicely. And in the previous years we have produced like hundreds, 200s of toppers for the subject of plant sciences, where all India top rankers are from our platform from the past 3 years. So if you are seriously preparing and if you are seriously wanting to crack these exams with the top rank and you want to achieve this fellowship, you can consider our course. So I'll just want to show you like what are the contents that we cover in the course in respect to the plant breeding. See, we have tried to keep it very simple. In total there are 27 classes, still like IPR classes, and few revision classes are pending, so that will be dealt soon. So these classes, if you just watch this 27 plus again attend extra 2 to 3 classes that we were going to conduct it, so that's well and good, and that's done. And how much time you will be taking to cover this 27 lectures, it's up to you. You can cover 7, you can cover 6 per day, 5 per day, 4 per day, and each class will be of like 1.5 to maximum of 2 hours. This is the duration, no matter like whether you see in the 2x, 0.5x, 1x, 1.5x, that doesn't matter. Like you can cover it based on your level of understanding, the flow you can keep. And below every topic we have uploaded the PDF that you can access, and just make sure you give minimum time and get the maximum content. Okay, so this is about the classes that we are providing. The links are available in the description box, and if you have any doubts regarding the course, you can contact us anytime. And if you are going for your self study, then to make the thing simple, like I given you some additional tips. First thing, cover the appendix. See, if you have read each and everything from detail, so try to cover the appendix from the Pundan Singh, read and revise selectively, and try to cover the maximum tables that are available in both the books, and do not rely on the objective books. See, this is one more important tip I would like to give. The objective books for the plant breeding and like genetics they are not very basic, they are complex. Most of the things are like analytical type of questions rather than just the direct or conceptual questions. But this level is not necessary to crack this ICAR PG exams, so do not rely upon the objective books and do not try to solve them and get the answers. Don't dig the answers. So only up to the level of ICAR PG exams you get the questions and answer them, and others you can leave it as it is. And next, keep the sources limited. Do not involve or do not take more and more books like Pundan Singh, BD Singh and some other books, some other materials. Do not do it. Keep the resources limited. But for revision, you can go for Anglo notes, you can go for aggregate notes, you can go for any class notes that you have in your UG. So those will be for your revision. but do not increase the textbooks for the exams. The BDCing and the Punjansing is more than sufficient. Do not go beyond this for this ICAR PG, and practice as many questions as you can soon after you complete a chapter. That will help you in analyzing the things and also work on your weak areas. And Anglo notes, as I said, you go for Anglo notes. And the best way to cover the entire syllabus is enrolling our online master course, which are available for a very affordable prices, where already like 800 plus students have been benefiting from this year, and from past 3 years there are more than 1500 plus students who have benefited from the course that is connected by AgriEdit. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can always come to me. And the students, for the YouTube audience, like who are doing their self-study and who need something which can help in their self-study, so I have made a table which will give you a detail about from the history what you have to study, from crop genetics what you have to study. So I have made a complete table here, so you can just comment on this video that I'll be sharing this PDF directly with you people. Okay, you have to just comment on this video, and I'll be sharing the detailed PDF which has the additional tips, which has the basic outline, plus which has the pre-YQs analysis, the number of questions which is asked in the different subjects. Even that I will be sharing with you, all of you. I have to just comment on this video. I hope this video was informative and you are able to understand like how to cover the plan bidding. But I also recommend you, after watching this video, go for the Kavya's video which is available in the description. The link is available. Just click on the link and find the thorough difference between the Punjansing and the BDCing and how to cover each one of them, and what combination will definitely help you in cracking and clearing the syllabus. Okay, if you like the video, I would request you, please like, comment, share and subscribe our YouTube channel. So next video is obviously the plant pathology made easy, that I'll be recording very soon, and I'll be coming back on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day.